Hi, I'm Anthony Mangano, and today we're in Brooklyn to visit the Annunciation Church. And as you can see, it's under renovations. Hi, I'm Anthony Mangano, and we're here on City of Churches with a very, very familiar guest who you know from Net TV, Monsignor Jamie.
Anthony, thank you.
How are you? You know, I think they're going to have to spin us off on our own show. It's going to be called the Monsignor Jamie and Anthony Show.
Well, all I do is renovate churches, right?
That's all right. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. You're doing a really good thing here. Thank you for coming back on the show because, you know, we know that you're the pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, but you also are the pastor of Annunciation, right?
Yes, Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin Mary. It's been, I would say, part of the parish for the last, I would say, 25 years, when the pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel was the administrator at Annunciation. Monsignor Casado was here when they asked him to become the administrator of Annunciation, and then Father Fanti and Monsignor Calise were also administrators. When I got here about a year and a half ago, I was also the administrator, but about 6 months ago, I felt it would be in the interest of the parish, bringing the two parishes together in this community, we merged the parishes. So it's known now as Our Lady of Mount Carmel / Annunciation Parish.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Sacred Heart St. Stephen's.
Yes.
You juggle so many things, which I give you a lot of credit for. So, you know, I know we're going to go back to the church, and we're over here talking because there's so much work going on in there.
We're renovating the whole church, and we're restoring as much as we can. But, you know, there's a terrazzo floor throughout the aisles of the church, but underneath the pews, it was painted red. So we thought it was just a concrete floor. And now, while they were cleaning the terrazzo floors, we were going to put, you know, some flooring over the underneath the pews. We found out that there's also terrazzo underneath the pews, and for some reason they painted over them.
Wow.
So, I mean, things that you discover when you renovate a church.
You know, I hear this a lot because when we do all these churches, they say, you're not going to believe that they painted over this, and it was like, and you go, what? I guess maybe at the time, for cost efficiency, they couldn't redo the marble, and the easiest thing to do was to make it look new by paint.
Or wood.
Or wood.
Or they put wood paneling, or they painted wood, or they painted over beautiful murals. Rather than restoring them, they just painted over. Many reasons, I guess, was the cost, but it's just a shame. And now many parishes are trying to restore what's going on there. It's a restoration.
Well, I believe it's a great thing you're doing. I know you couldn't replicate it today. There's no way.
Yes.
You'd never be able to get it. How long has Annunciation been around? When was it established?
Annunciation was established before Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Really?
Annunciation was established in 1863.
Wow.
And the church was built in 1870. The parish is about 155 years old. And in another year and a half, in 2020, the church itself will be 150 years old. And that's another reason why we're renovating it too, because if we didn't renovate it, it would have fallen down, or we would have had to close the doors because the ceiling started to come down. The structure, the tower, when we went up there, was unstable. We had a big debate whether to take it down or not. So many obstacles we ran into. So it'll be a year until the completion.
The process of which it goes through, it's just not something that could be done overnight.
Yes.
What was the demographic back then for this particular, you're going back 1860. Sure.
We had German Dominicans were established here in the parish, and they founded the parish. And there were, many Germans that were in this neighborhood and came to this parish because of the German Dominicans who were here. And they were here until around 1914, when the demographics started to change. And then it was designated as a Lithuanian parish in 1914. And since that time, the Lithuanian community has been very active in the parish. Of course, in those days, there were many more than there are today, but they still come, many of them have moved away, and they come from Middle Village, Maspeth, they come from Connecticut, and they travel here on Sunday. And not only do they come to celebrate the liturgy, but they have many ethnic and cultural events here. They celebrate the Lithuanian Independence Day. They celebrate many different cultural and Lithuanian events throughout the year. So it's more of a way of not only expressing their faith and celebrating their faith, but they also celebrate their Lithuanian heritage. We also have a Spanish Mass celebrated every Sunday, and that was also celebrated at Annunciation along with the Lithuanian Mass. So it was only open on Sunday for maybe 3 hours, and that was it. But since then, when I arrived here, we have a Sunday evening Mass, and that Mass, we get a lot of young people that are new to the community.
Right.
And I moved that to Annunciation because it's right on Metropolitan Avenue, and it's right on the main thoroughfare where people can pass by and see it. So we have that on Sunday evenings. And then also from Easter until the beginning of November, we now have our daily Mass over there because it's such a beautiful church, and I wanted to use it, incorporate it more to show the community and that we are one parish. We're not separate. We have 2 worship sites, but that we will be using both worship sites, and it's all one parish.
What would you say the style of the church? Gothic.
It's referred to as Lombard Romanesque. It has that German influence, that Roman influence there, and that's why when you see, when you go there, especially the high altar with all the wood carvings and all, it's very much in that Lombard, German style.
The statues that you have in there, were they the original ones?
There were maybe 1 or 2 that are original to the church, but over the years, many of them have been changed. Okay. I mean, there's a few from 1914 when the Lithuanians came in, but there are maybe 1 or 2 in there. The murals, of course, are all original to the church.
And you're redoing those, right?
Yes, they're all being restored.
And how many? There's like 5 of them or something?
Oh no, I believe there's 10. There's 5
10.
on each side, and those are original to the church, and they're being restored. When we got into the church, it was so dirty, you couldn't even see the scenes that they were depicting there. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Now how they just pop out now between cleaning them and also the lighting, because we enhanced the lighting in the church as well. So now they really stand out.
And the Stations of the Cross?
The Stations of the Cross, they were on canvas. Some of the canvas were actually falling off the frames, and they were cracking and broken, and those are all restored. And there were niches on the side of the churches that kind of like indented. And what we did was I put the 4 evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, in 4 of them. And then also we put Our Lady of Fatima and Mother Teresa in the others to try to incorporate the newer saints.
And the stained glass, which is one of my favorite
Yeah,
things.
the stained glass is original to the church as well. I mean, and when we go over there, especially when the light shines through the stained glass, it's magnificent.
Which one's your favorite?
I think the one, when I look, there's one of Christ as the Good Shepherd. And for some reason that just sticks out, and I always look at that one.
That's great. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back with Monsignor Jamie. You know what we're going to do right now? We're going to show our viewers some footage we shot from months ago of you and I walking through the church and climbing up the scaffolding.
Oh, I know.
So watch this. This is going to be really good.
Anthony, would you like to go upstairs?
Heck yeah. You guys want to follow us? This is going to be cool. I'll let you lead the way.
I hope you're not afraid of heights.
Nah. This will be kind of interesting.
We're restoring the church. It's
Yeah.
a restoration. Work started probably about 3 months ago. And the church itself will be 150 years old in 2 years. It was completed in 1870. The parish itself was established in 1863. And it's gone through a couple of renovations, and I want to say restorations, because that's what this is right now. It's a restoration, and we're trying to keep as many of the paintings and all of the artwork as possible.
Well, I could see already that I see the way you're restoring it, and I mean, this is
Magnificent.
it's going to be magnificent. You know, you could tell already just by the work. I mean, the colors. I like the way the colors are because it makes everything pop.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, these walls were all painted beige. As you can see, he's doing the columns in like a maroon and the gold. All the paintings are being done over and highlighted. The window frames are being, the stained glass windows are being highlighted. So everything else is just going to pop. I mean, it's a beautiful church, and they're trying to look at old pictures to see what it looked like before and trying to keep as much as that as possible.
And we're on the first level, right?
Well, this is one
Second level. Yeah, one level.
It's only one level. They had to construct, if you can see, a whole platform up there, which is probably, I would say, at least maybe like more than 3/4 up. And they had to do that because the whole ceiling began to fall down.
Oh, wow.
When we came in here, the church was only used on Sundays for one Mass. And now, since I got here, we use it for the Sunday evening Mass. The Spanish Mass is here. We have a very large Lithuanian community that I spoke about. And the whole ceiling, when they went up there, was just about to fall down. One week, on one of the pews, a piece of the ceiling, a chunk of the plaster, came right down. And it was just unbelievable that the church wasn't packed.
Talk about bringing the Mass to a halt.
Right. So with that being said, when they examined up there above the ceiling, and it's all arched, there was about 2 feet of petrified pigeon droppings.
Oh, nice.
That for years and years and years, over 30 years, had to be cleaned out. And in doing so, the ceiling was just unbelievably falling apart.
Why don't you take us up to the next level?
We'll go up to the next level.
Well, pigeon droppings?
Yep.
There's a joke in there somewhere. But that's, I feel bad for the guy that had to do that. That's a horrible job. But my God, 30 years of that.
Yep.
Wow, look at this.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm holding on. I've never done this before. So this
Really?
is interesting. No, I've never been on a scaffold. I've been on ladders, but I've never been on a scaffold. So I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
You guys filming this? We're going up. So we're going up to the top now, huh?
Yes, here we are. I hope you're not afraid of heights.
No, no. And this is where all the pigeon and the.
Well, this, as you can see, that's the
old
arch ceiling. And what happened was that's what was starting to decay and fall down.
Wow.
So when they came up here and they did a test of the ceiling, a hammer test they call it, they go around with the hammer and they just tap it and the ceiling started to fall down.
Wow.
But above this, which we knew, was petrified pigeon droppings over the last 25, 30 years. So between the ceiling and that decaying, they had to really take down the whole ceiling, and now they're repairing it, and as you can see, all the slats are here, and then they're doing it with compound and sheetrock. It'll be painted and all, and the other side is just the first coat of paint. So this is basically the old, and then we'll be able to see the new.
If we had to try and build a church from scratch like this now, the price would be astronomical.
You wouldn't be able to do it.
No.
You don't have the craftsmen today to build a structure like this. You know, to make these arches, you can't do that today.
No.
That's why we're restoring what we have. And you know, the big question is, people say, why are you doing this? You know, it's costing so much money. Well, it was either restore it or let it fall down, because it was falling down. So in a couple of years, it would have fallen down, it would have been condemned, we would put the chain on the door, and then eventually it would have been knocked down and sold. How could you let a treasure like this? This is one of the most magnificent churches that we have in the Diocese of Brooklyn. One of the oldest, but also one of the most magnificent.
It's amazing because when I do this show, and I learned so much over the years of doing it now that I go from church to church, and I say it, and you hit the nail on the head. You could not replicate this now. I'm not saying there's not craftsmen out there, but the detail, and a lot of them, it was the love they had for it.
Right.
I commend you on it, because I want our viewers to see this in stages, so when you come back and you see how great this looks, you're going to have to come down there and see it. I'm sure Monsignor Jamie will be here to greet you as well.
Yes. Another reason why I'm doing this is that I'm the pastor of Mount Carmel, I'm the pastor of Annunciation. These two parishes have been the heart of this community for over 100 years. And our community is changing around us.
Sure.
And I wanted to make sure that the Church of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, the Church of Annunciation of our Blessed Mother, maintains to be and will remain to be the focal point of this community. We may not get the crowds that we had years ago, but we will have people here. And the presence of the church, the presence of Christ will remain the center of this community. So you could see, Anthony, it's still a bit of a mess, but we're getting there with God's help.
Wow.
Look at that ceiling. Wow. You remember we were up on the scaffolding?
There with the pigeons. Dude,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The whole ceiling was down.
Look at this.
We were up there on the scaffolding.
Wow. It's a whole,
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
All the murals were done over, cleaned
They're
up.
absolutely-
The scaffolding was above the mural.
Yeah, I
the
remember
floor.
this, yeah.
And the whole ceiling was done over. All the windows were cleaned and reinforced and protected. And all the stenciling was done, the lighting.
It's breathtaking. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, you really...
Look at the stations, the
when
stations
we look
up
back,
across.
when our viewers look at when we were here, they're not going to believe this is here. This is amazing. Look at the color of the ceiling you painted up there. I mean, it's...
This was the original color, and this, so they kept the same color, theme throughout the whole church, through the years.
Look at the Stations of the
Yeah,
Cross.
Stations of the Cross were all redone and put back up. Now these niches here, I was telling you, we put the four evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, in here.
Okay.
And as you can see, they're doing the floor over. So
Well,
that
you
the
were you
Yeah.
were telling me about all this before.
This is what they painted over the terrazzo floor.
Oh, wow.
And I told you we're closing the street.
Yes.
I got the DOT to make this a plaza in the front because we have a square across the street, but they're going to close the street so that the whole square in the front of the church will be a little plaza.
Only you can get that done.
But this is the back altar.
Look at
and
this.
And look at the carved, there's all wood.
Wow.
Okay.
That's wood?
Yes, and there you have Christ with the four evangelists. Okay. And up there we have Our Lady of Lourdes. We have Our Lady of Lourdes and we have St. Bernadette kneeling there. And you see all the wood carving, and there's lights in here. So all the lights stick out. You have the Holy Spirit, and you have the angel Gabriel coming to our Blessed Mother for the Annunciation of the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
You really have done
So-
a great job, man. We're not even there yet.
And as you can see up in the choir loft, we have the ladder up. That's the stairway to heaven.
Yeah, we're saying, I gotta go talk to God for a minute. Excuse me, sir.
But that's how to get up to the tower.
You know, your steeple, which is definitely different. I've been a few of them. You know, it's a Sacred Heart St. Stephen's. I climbed up that thing with the crew. They were all there. That was a little nerve-wracking.
Yes, it's almost like an octagon. It has 8 sides. The original bell of the church is, the bells are still in there.
Do they ring?
No, they don't. They haven't, rung for years. But the thing is, they don't work, and it'd be very hard to restore them as well. But we did not remove them because in the renovation of the church, we discovered that the bell tower itself was a little crooked and it was unstable. So we had this big debate whether to try to stabilize it or remove it. And you couldn't remove the steeple because the church wouldn't look like a church without it. So we did decide to restore it, but the structural engineers said that the weight of the bells would keep the bell tower sturdy, and it would enforce it even more. So the bells are in there, and they're stabilizing the tower, as well as the front of the church. The pipe organ itself is over 100 years old.
See, that's something right there.
But it wasn't built for this church. It was built for another church, and it was brought here in 1930. you couldn't duplicate that organ today. It's one of the few organs in the country that is like that, a pipe organ with that many pipes, and it's just going to be magnificent when it's done.
Sure.
So they'll be coming in shortly for that. But as you can see, standing from here, and look, just take a look at this altar here. I'll give you a little sneak preview.
Oh, wow.
But
wow.
It's a beautiful marble altar.
Oh, so much better than the wood.
Oh yeah.
Look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. It goes with everything. I mean, it's just amazing what you've done here. You're not even there yet. You've got weeks to go, and it's just the final end product is going to be absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful now.
We'll have the television screens on the column so people in the back can get a good view if they cannot see. And we're excited. It'll be, you know, like I said, almost a year, but now you're starting to see the fruits of the labor.
I'm going to notice the
Before
difference.
we go there, Anthony, I want to show you up here. We have on the top Our Lady of Mount Carmel, because I wanted to, you know, connect the parishes. And I also have here St. Dominic, because in the beginning, the Dominicans were here, the German Dominicans. So I wanted to make the connection of the past and the present. The new parish coming in, and then the past with the original community that was here in the parish.
I want to thank you for letting us come back again. And that's it for this episode of City of Churches. Now, look, if you have any questions, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter or netnewyork.tv, or you can write into us at City of Churches, 1712 10th Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11215. Thank you so much for watching. I'm here with Monsignor Jamie again, and we'll be back at the Monsignor Jamie and Anthony Show.
I just want to say, if you want to make a donation, you're welcome.
There you go. And watch him on Breaking Bread, okay? God bless you. See you next time. Let's go.